I did not get into this job space because like I wanted to do good for America or like I felt a calling. I just really liked machine learning, and I was told they had cool machine learning work for me.
I would really like to hear your experience working as a consultant to government organizations. I mean, that's
Mhm.
generally, I believe Booz Allen has a huge public sector contracting practice. And I'd like to understand how, what that experience is like. I would imagine you wouldn't have access to some of the data that you have if you weren't in that type of role. You wouldn't be working on similar problems to what you're working on now if you weren't in that type of role. Uh, I just want to get a lay of the land for, hey, what is this type of work like? Where you're working closely with the government, perhaps compared to, maybe I can add more context on what the private sector work is like. But just your experience there. I mean, we've talked, and you clearly enjoy what you're doing. So uh, I'd love to share more opportunities with more people to realize that, hey, like you can do data uh, working for the public sector.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely enjoy my job. Um, I can't name clients because
Of
I
course.
don't have their permission in advance. Um, I mean, some things are just not different. Like you have bureaucracy and structural organizations and uh, uh, resource constraints and budget constraints that exist in any large organization, whether that be the government or any company on earth. They're going to dictate like, well, okay, what do you have access to? Like, okay, do you have the money to buy data or get data labeled, or do you have your own internal database that you're just going to pull from? Those things are kind of the same everywhere. But there's other parts I think that's really sort of like the nature of what success means that can be different. And uh, a lot of work for like a public company is intrinsically sort of profit motivated. Like we want to show more ads, or we want more people to click the ads, or we want people to stay on the website longer because that correlates with people buying more. There's sort of like a very natural uh, common theme amongst all these companies in terms of some of the ways that the machine learning projects go. But and there's projects like that within the government. You want to save money, you want to save the taxpayers money. There's also projects where sort of the goal is just like more public benefit oriented. So like, okay, we want to, I'm just going to make problems up just to keep people happy. But like, maybe we want to figure out like where's the dirty water or lead pipes that need to be replaced. Uh, what kind of chemical interactions should we be looking at for like some drug development or something, or for some cancer research, or like just how do we stop more malware, or how do we uh, I'm having trouble on this last one coming up with something on the spot. But it's more just sort of like the nature of like what the goals and successes are uh, not to be pejorative of people working for a private company, but sometimes they're more sort of intrinsically motivated goods. Like I did not get into this job space because like I wanted to do good for America or like I felt a calling. I just really liked machine learning, and I was told they had cool machine learning work for me. But it is something that's actually like I found a lot of pride and sort of like fulfillment in, is that a lot of my work like really tackles things that are public goods and are often things that are difficult to like motivate from just like a for-profit perspective. Um, so
Well, I think that. Go ahead.
oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I think that's a really cool thing in general is that it can be profit motivated in private sector, but you're also adhering and doing things for stakeholders in a company. And stakeholders in the company, they generally want things to happen fast. They want to make their money. They don't want to do whatever. And in a lot of ways, that can be aligned with creating value for people, but a lot of times it also isn't. I think that there's two things that are, from what I understand, are probably a little different when you're working for the government, is that timelines can be a little bit broader. And that's generally a good thing for data science because you can experiment a lot more. You can create really valuable products when you're not like, oh, I have to make an iteration of this model by Friday in the sprint and whatever that might be. And also, just like that, the stakeholders are the are U.S. citizens, basically, right? For the most part, and that kind of change in paradigm, that idea that, hey, we're creating value for technically yourself too as a U.S. citizen.
Very self-serving.
but that's like a different way to look at a problem. That's a different way to incentivize, and it does have implications on the type of research and the type of work that's and the how the work is done. I mean, to say like those are good things or bad things, they're just different. But I would imagine that working for a private sector versus working for public sector, depending on your own goals and issues, the type of work you want to do, it could be a different journey for, you'd have to match it to your own personality and your ambitions and goals.